Hello everybody. Let's see. This is a beautiful underpass under a national highway. And there's a bicycle here. We've got 54 viewers. Please say hi in the chat. And let me tell you where you guys are from. We are in probably one of the most bicycle unfriendly places in Oulu. So we are in the old underpass built in 1960s, something like that, under the national highway. But who cares about that? Let's go for a bike ride. So I had small problems with my gimbal. I don't know what it's from, but let's see if things work. So we are under one of the 300 underpasses that we got here in Oulu, and let's climb up. We are in the far suburbs of Oulu, so in many places around the world these places wouldn't be too cyclable. Hello there everybody from Montreal, Edmonton, Canada. Greetings from Heippa Tallinnasta. Hey Mari. Good evening from the Netherlands. Happy to have all you here. I see 52 people currently joined in. And hi Patty. Hi Patty, good to see you here. Also hello Lisa from Edmonton. And first of all, let's see this one hellscape of a place, which is called which is actually a huge hypermarket on the outskirts of the city. We are about maybe 6 kilometers from the city center. There's quite a lot of bike parking here, and you can safely access all of these places without having to go through that sea of motor vehicles over there. And so it's currently like 15 past 8 p.m. So it's not that crowded here anymore. But yeah, we've been having some snowfall here like past 20 hours now. It's been snowing basically non-stop. Not that heavily, but I still haven't seen any single cycling path that wouldn't have been plowed yet. But many of them have actually been plowed twice or even 3 times, and so on. So, as Timo is saying, this is almost like Oulu's downtown, where most of the people are hanging. So, as I oftentimes say, Oulu is a kind of a suburban, sprawled, car-dependent type of a sad excuse of a city with decent bicycle infrastructure. God. Hey there Kurdies, good to see you here as well. And hi Julie from Edmonton. So there's quite a lot of these underpasses, as you can see, even here in the outskirts. But yeah, as Anders was saying earlier, underpasses are basically, well, they are sometimes really good. They can be made in a good way, they can also be made in a really bad way. And during my trips around the world, I've seen really bad examples as well. Most of them here in Oulu are pretty good. Happy about that. But basically, having said all of that, many of the underpasses are still basically car infrastructure. So, just allowing people driving motor vehicles go faster, have less places where to yield and care for people walking, cycling and so on, maybe less traffic lights and so on. And it's oftentimes people walking and cycling who have to do the climbing up or down. Alright. Unconquered Sun is saying that this is your second winter riding the bike in the winter. Thanks for watching, Pekka. Thanks. I'm so happy to hear that. It's like, if these streams and if my social media posts and so on, if they even made one person cycle more, then it's a goal actually achieved. Absolutely. And Steve, hi there, how are you doing? When you're coming back to Oulu again? So, I was expecting, honestly, this stream to start a little bit sooner, and I was looking at the maintenance real-time vehicle map, and we just missed some of the maintenance vehicles, but unfortunately they can't wait for us and for our little online event schedule, because they have a much more important thing to do. So no worries about that. Anyway, one thing about which Oulu is quite famous is these. Many of you have probably seen photos and images and so on of these projected simple signs, which are projected from the overhead projectors, which are over there right below the lamppost, and they are turned on always when the illumination is on. So these are also here in the winter time, and the main purpose here is to make people help remember which side to cycle and which side to walk on when the snow is covering the markings. You've seen some of these signs in Tartu, Estonia as well. Well, that's a good thing. Wonderful. Yes, and as Julie is saying, you love the lighting, so that's a really important point. So these paths, especially paths like these, which are in their own corridor in between the suburbs, in between the residential and commercial and industrial areas, oftentimes taking shortcuts through parks and districts and going more direct. If they are not illuminated well, not many people would use them when it's dark, and believe me, it's a lot of dark time here in Finland. Hei Maria, terkkuja takaisin Ottavaan. Anyway, so illumination is really important. So basically all of our 1,000 kilometers of segregated cycle paths here in city of Oulu are illuminated. Some better, some not well enough, but at least somewhat. And we also have, of course, when we take maintenance seriously, there needs to be people who monitor the quality, because we are buying the services from outside contractors. It's not the city people doing the maintenance anymore. So here we've got one of the automatic weather stations. It's got a live camera. You can find this place in oululiikenne.fi, and it also has these. So we are using laser distance meters to keep track on how much snow there is, and we can see if the contractor has plowed, if they have plowed well, if there's like 2 millimeters of snow or 22 millimeters of snow or whatever. So we've got these experimental devices and weather points in different places. So maybe somebody already knows which are the two other locations. We are now here in Linnabaana. City of center of Oulu is this way, about 5 kilometers, and the university is like a little bit less than 1 kilometer behind me. Yeah, and Maria, as you're saying, often underpasses are regarded as the worst solution. Yes, absolutely. Like I was telling earlier, you can make them really bad, and usually they are really bad. But you can also make them well. Of course, it requires knowledge on how to do that. It requires a little bit more space, and even better if you can make the road that is going over the underpass go a little higher, so that people walking and cycling using their own muscle power don't have to go as far down and then climb back up. Also, as I often say, underpasses are better than overpasses, because when you're going down you gain some momentum which you can use to help you climb back up, unlike in the case of overpasses. So Inter is asking how far from the center has Linnabaana been built out. So originally, when we built it in two sections, it was about 5 kilometers, 5.5 kilometers maybe, and now there's a couple of small extensions, maybe 1.5 kilometers extra. So maybe about 7 kilometers now towards Ritaharju. And as Marcos Martinez is saying, it's so beautiful, and it is. I'm so happy we got some snow today, because this winter has been really bad here. this is like our 6th winter already, this winter. So we had a really good winter for a brief moment in October, it melted, November again, December a couple of winters, and then just recently we had it all melt. And it's been basically just ice and a lot of challenges with the maintenance, lots of sanding, lots of adding some gravel, trying to like smooth the surfaces, make them as a, because you need to do some preventive maintenance when you know that next day is going to snow like it finally did today. So you need to be sure that the surface that the snow is collecting on is flat and smooth and not like bumpy and full of ruts. So now it's about -9 degrees Celsius, -10. Maybe somebody can convert that into freedom units if they want to. I don't. But it's nice and almost toasty here. So I believe we had some questions regarding winter maintenance, maybe even winter cycling gear. So Petra, you had a list of some of the questions, and you can also try to shoot them directly at me. But just so that you know, I can only see on my screen like the 3 most recent messages. So I apologize if I miss your question, because if there's a lot of messages coming up fast, I can't read them all, and sometimes I also have to concentrate into other traffic, other people cycling and walking. "10 Celsius is 50 Fahrenheit, yeah, but this is -10. So it's like, I don't know, 10 Fahrenheit, 15, I don't know. So is winter trail maintenance contracted separately from road? It depends. So we've got, in Oulu we got 14 different aerial contracts. And in an aerial contract, a regular contract, a contractor is responsible for all the streets and also all the bike paths. But in addition to that, we've got the superclass maintenance network, which goes through basically almost all of those areas, and these paths are excluded from those regular aerial contracts. And in this superclass maintenance contract, it's only the most important in-city and like regional cycling paths included and nothing else, and that contract has got 24/7 maintenance, and if the snowfall continues, you just need to keep on plowing. 2 centimeters of snow needs to be gone with 3 hours, and 4 centimeters must never be reached. Wonderful. And Maria is asking if I'm aware of any plans of including winter cycling as a part of Oulu 2026 program. So I can't say that for sure. I don't know for sure. Maybe somebody else can let me know or let us know. But it is an essential part of our culture, and we definitely should have. Steve is asking if that grit in the underpass had salt. No. So use of salt is absolutely forbidden on our cycling paths. Theoretically it's possible, because we just passed under a national highway, that there was a little bit of snow with a little bit of salt in it spilled from the national highway that was going over it. Maybe, I don't know, but I didn't notice that. And Petra is asking, or maybe it's a question from the audience, how are the cities managing multiple and rapid freeze and thaws, and the impact of cycling route clearing? And the same question basically from Heather. Before that, we've got a set of traffic lights. How long do we have to wait? Let's have a look. This is already too long. Also, if we are using this path going from the university to the city center, there's only this one set of traffic lights. And it's changing now. Yeah, there we go. But if you are traveling by car, you have 13 sets of traffic lights. Also, the distance by motor vehicles is 1 kilometer longer. You see that guy that just came against us was using probably a fixed C with slick tires, very narrow ones. Anyway, so one of the key principles in preventing any bad things from freeze and thaw is like frequent plowing. You need to be plowing a lot and often so that the snow doesn't compact here and accumulate too much. And so probably now this hard-packed snow layer that we're riding on is just a few millimeters thick, and if and when it melts, that's not going to be a huge problem. So the ruts first of all cannot be too deep, and it's also easy to scrape off if needed. The other thing is drainage, and as I am always saying, it's about drainage, drainage and drainage. So water must not flow onto the path. It must not stay on the path. It must not come onto the path. For example, when the snowbanks are melting, for example here, they should flow to the right and not to the left. So you should never ever have bicycle infrastructure where it's designed so that melting snow will flow over the path, because that's going to freeze and melt and freeze and melt, cause a lot of unevenness and maybe even change the grade of the path. Absolutely. It's difficult to see some of the questions because the font is white. Let's see. Also reminding it's like 8:30 p.m. already. So no traffic jams here anymore. But we've got space on our bicycle network because there's like 4.5 meters of bicycle paths per capita here. And as you can see, people are riding just regular bikes. Of course, whatever makes you feel comfortable, just go for it. The snowfall is also getting stronger. Steve is asking how is detection done, and are you talking about measuring people walking and cycling, or are we talking about, for example, detecting the amount of new snow on the bike path? Signal. Okay, perfect. So we've got two different types of detection for traffic lights. So we either use radars or we use induction loops. Both of them exist. And radars are better because they also detect people walking. Alright. Again, a couple of underpasses here, and as you can see, these are pretty smooth. There's somebody walking with a doggy. Always careful. Good. More underpasses. So, more questions. Hit me. It's a little bit steep to climb up here, maybe even 4%, which is not really deep, but it's still more than what we should have. 74 people watching. It's wonderful. And of course, this stream will be available for viewing later on my YouTube channel, as are also my previous streams from a couple of years ago. There's a lot of streams also talking about these protected signs and winter maintenance and so on. One of the rare places where we actually have to yield, which I don't like at all. Okay, come on. Questions. Shifting to e-bikes is a significant trend in Oulu, is it? Of course it is. So we see more and more people with e-bikes. I haven't heard that much from problems, and many of them seem to be pretty good. I mean, doing pretty well in terms of battery. Did I see some maintenance going on over there? Sorry, I was just trying to check if there's still a machine over there doing something. Maybe it's the regular network, or maybe they're just doing some private courtyards. I don't know. What part of the city is this? So we are currently in Tuira and getting close to the city center. We are riding towards south, towards the city center from Linnanmaa, the university area. So there's some winter maintenance going on here, but this is just private courtyards and private areas. And you can see they are using an adjustable blade. But for example, you shouldn't be using this kind of a blade on bicycle infrastructure because the teeth are too wide. And if these ruts are freezing, they will cause serious ruts, which will not be good for bike riding. Okay, let's go away. And here we have the priority. They have to yield. And there's a question, have we figured out a gravel that doesn't cause a million punctures? We have. So it's a simple thing. In the contract, we require the contractor to use material which doesn't cause punctures, which is friendly to bicycles and also doggy paws. And if we find a material that's causing punctures, the contractor has to brush it out and replace it with a better material. So how to get that kind of material? Well, there's natural gravel, and you can also kind of prepare crushed rock also in a way that the sharp edges are removed. So for example, I haven't had, knocking on the wood, I haven't had a puncture here in Oulu from gravel or grit in a million years. Kathy is asking if the trail system is maintained on the same schedule as the road system. No, it's not. So the road system doesn't need as frequent maintenance. So the first priority here is the bicycle superhighways and the superb class maintenance network, which is 166 kilometers in Oulu and a couple of nearby municipality centers. And then we have the regular first class of bicycle and pedestrian paths. So, and only then we have the first class of streets. So it's two first classes, two most highest priorities are like hundreds and hundreds of kilometers of shared paths. Inter is asking, do you know of the newest bike path behind Poikkimaantie Bridge along the river? I do. So I've obviously I've ridden all the bike paths and all the streets in Oulu. Basically one of the hobbies of mine to go ride every single trail, every single track, street, bike path and so on. Still got a few paths unridden which are like dozens of kilometers away from the city center. Oh, what do we have here? Do we have a food robot? Let's go see what's up with that fella. They stopped there. So what's up with you fella? What's up? Waiting for orders? But yeah, so usually the winter maintenance, or basically always the winter maintenance, is good enough even for those tiny wheels. Heather is asking if I could speak about how the contractors handle corners. For example, windrows are a major problem for us in Edmonton. What do you mean by corners? Do you mean like, I don't know, like 90-degree corners in the edges of blocks, or do we mean places where a bicycle path is intersecting a street or something? Let's make a U-turn back. I don't want to go back the same way. Let's go this way instead. Yes, T intersections. Those robots are silly and not needed. Yeah, I kinda agree. But yeah, maybe there are people who might need them and for whom they are maybe a good thing. I hope so. I can't really say that I have too much knowledge on this. But before that, let's stop here at this one counter of ours. So you can see today it's 2037 and we've had 1396 people on bikes and 854 on foot. And the top 20 37 minutes ago looked like this. We've got now 12 or 13 of these counters with displays and dozens more without displays, but you can see all of that data real time on the internet in our traffic portal. It's all open data, so if you want to build something from that data, you're free to do so. So the intersections like this and this, they look rather nice. So this small robot is carrying groceries for customers, so people can order groceries from grocery stores and these robots will deliver them even in the winter time. And they're saying that these robots are developed in Estonia. Didn't know that one. Yeah, these counters are really good. They've got about a 5-second delay, which is not ideal, but I guess we can make do with it. But oftentimes that 5-second delay already confuses people and they sometimes think that the counter doesn't work. Getting closer to the city center, and there's a huge construction going on here, and one of the most important paths is cut. So let's see how we manage to find our way around it. These bridges, so there's 4 of them, 3 of them, were built in 1984, 1985. This one was 1984. They're about 4.7 meters wide and only for people walking and cycling, and I think that was a really great achievement back in the 80s when it was still like partly the strongest era of automobilization, and even then they managed to push through those important bridges. So we are coming to a construction zone which should be ready in December. Petra is saying how it's beautiful how the snow sparkles, and trust me, Petra, well, you know, you've been here, it's so much more beautiful in real life. So I don't know if you can really see it on the screen. Maybe you can. At least I can see it a little bit. But yeah. Indra is asking about the bike path alongside the river, mainly for recreation, because it's so twisty. So it's both. But I don't think we even classify paths that way, which are for like commutes or which are for errands, which are for recreation. So all of these paths are used for all of those purposes. And at least one long section along the river is also part of the super class maintenance network, and it's also very much widely used, so there's a lot of people using it. So section that we have to ride here on the street, I believe it's 30 kilometers per hour speed limit here. The surface is fine, it's not perfect, it's a little bit bumpy, not too bad, but I'll be happy to go back on the bike path. So for all those wondering, I'm riding one-handed on this upright single speed old military bike from 1951, Finnish made. This is from the border patrol of Finnish Lapland, 73 years old, with just one gear and foot brake. So easy, so comfortable. So here we go back again onto the main network. Let's go this way. It's a beautiful area here also. So we are on the west side of the city center, where the city center meets the sea or the river delta. So there are also some beautiful pulp mills over there in the distance where all this steam is coming from. Nice bike, thank you. It's absolutely wonderful. And Allocated Brain is asking, what is it about -10? Exactly, -8, -9 or -10. Haven't checked in last half an hour or so. So here it gets wider again, and there's yet another of these projected path signs. Let's stop here. There's again one of these, and let's get off the bike for a second, so you can also see the bike a little bit like this. Very simple and very durable, and there's a projector underneath the lamp, so now you can maybe see the lamp and then the projector at the bottom, and they are on always when the street lights are on. Let's see who's here. So Anders is asking, can I talk a little bit about managing abrasives in general, so we don't ruin things for kicksleds and skiing crossings. So yeah, unfortunately that is not a priority. So of course the city is a little bit afraid of people slipping. So even now, after the plowing, they've added a tiny amount of sand here. So this is, even though it looks like it's just snow, there's a little bit of sand here also. They are not like wasting the sand, they are not using it too much, only when it's needed, and well, in my opinion it wouldn't be needed now. So unfortunately I don't think this is really good for kicksledding right now, even though it might look like that. I also need to check my battery level, so I have the possibility of charging. I've still got 50% of battery left, so I should be good for at least 15 minutes still. Live streaming is draining my 4-year-old Android phone's battery like hell. It's eating battery as much as I am eating chocolate and ice cream. What is the general width of our bicycle paths? So in general, most common ones 3.5 meters. Bicycle superhighways like this, 4 meters for the bicycle path, 10 centimeters for the separation, the thin white line over there in the middle, and 2.5 for people walking. So this is 6.6 meters wide, and that is the standard for our bicycle superhighways. And when we go further away from the city center, and if we are still on the superhighway network, then it's 1 meter less, especially in places if we need to save some beautiful trees or so on. But that's based on, the width is based on the path capacity and counter data, how many people we have moving there. Of course, the traffic amounts are defining the capacity, and of course the bicycle model, how bicycle traffic will develop during the coming years and coming decades. So of course when we are building infrastructure, we are building it for the future, not only for the present. So whatever bicycle infrastructure we are building here now, will probably be here still in 50 years time, hopefully 100 years time, and so on, who knows. As Gu is saying, perfect ice cream weather for Finns, absolutely. And yeah, as Allocated Brain is saying, very cool though, it was nice to catch this. Happy you like it. So please share this, send a message to your friends, like and subscribe, comment, leave some comments. And this chat will be available for viewing later on the video. It just takes a couple of hours probably for YouTube to process the chat after the live stream has finished. You can also, because this whole icebreaker event and Winter Cycling Federation is mostly working on volunteer people only. So please, if you like us, if you like what we are doing, if you like to support us, please consider making a donation. And you can do that at wintercycling.org. And we'll be of course having more events like this. Please let us also know how did you like this event. I'm not about to quit yet, but there will also be a feedback form, a questionnaire sent to your email addresses after the event is over. The walking and cycling paths seem to never be physically separated. Are pedestrians ever complaining or walking on the bike path? Well, almost never. And of course there's confusion, especially in the winter time. But there's so much space here that there's space for everybody. And why they are not usually physically separated, we have a couple of old sections, just a few hundred meters, where they are physically level separated, grade separated. But it's much easier to maintain them this way. So it's primarily because of maintenance. So if we had a level difference here, a grade difference, still possible to maintain really well, but maybe it requires a little bit more work and more preciseness. I don't know. What are your thoughts? So Mari is asking, does the city of Oulu follow statistics of falling incidents and related injuries and trauma on Oulu streets and analyze maintenance needs, measures, costs versus benefits? Not enough. And I'm sure if Timo is here, if Timo you are here, please, you can respond in the chat. You know more about this than I do. But every single city should be doing that, absolutely. Because maintenance of active transportation corridors is best possible preventive healthcare. Absolutely. No questions about that. Oh, Timo is here, so maybe you can answer to Mari. Take time. An interesting feature of Dutch planning is separating bicycles from pedestrians everywhere. However, in Oulu lower capacity paths they are shared. Does the city want to change this eventually? So, only if we need to. And that depends on traffic volumes. Many of our paths have such a low traffic volumes that there's no need for that. We have the priority here. Thanks. Well, I shouldn't be even thanking them. Just obeying traffic rules. And we have basically ridden along the city center outlines and entering one of my least favorite areas of Oulu. After these bigger residential buildings over there, we are going to an industrial and commercial area with big box stores and lots of car traffic and noise and whatever. So yeah, as Inter is saying that there's not a lot of conflict between people walking and cycling. One of the main reasons here for that is that almost everybody cycles and almost everybody walks. So when there's people walking and cycling and driving, almost everybody uses these modes of transportation too from time to time. Everybody knows how it's like to cycle. There's people cycling and walking all the time. They are never a surprise and people know to expect them. and that leads to less conflicts, and less conflicts leads to less crashes and so on. So one of the most important safety features for cycling is to have more people cycling. Steve was asking if there's special snow clearing at those intersections to reveal striping. No, there isn't. It's just that there's more car traffic and they are wearing down the snow and ice, so they are sometimes more visible. Interestingly, I can't see the button here where I should be able to change the camera, because I'm getting a little bit of frost on my face already. Big box stores, XXL and at Prisma Hypermarket, Power, McDonald's 24 hours and so on. Let's stop here for a second. So one of the important points of bicycle infrastructure is of course wayfinding. And so we changed our wayfinding system, or upgraded it a few years ago completely. So we installed 7,700 new signs regionally, though how it counts that this is 3 or 4 separate signs. And of course in ideal situations you wouldn't really need a lot of signage, but it helps, especially because the infrastructure is not perfect. This is Kempana, absolutely, this is Kempana. Let's see if I can change the camera somehow. Can I? Where is he? Here. Let's see. Hello there. Not that frosty yet, but it's only -9. Back to the rear camera, you've seen me enough already. Alright, let's continue. And it's the second time that we have traffic lights here. Oh, need to be able to adjust the gimbal a little bit. Which way does it go? This way? No. Just a sec. This? No. Allocated Brain is asking if I listen to metal. I do. How did you guess? I used to listen to much more metal earlier, and nowadays I listen to all kinds of music. But yeah, I do love metal. Waiting. At least we do not need to push those back buttons. And up there in the middle of the screen now we've got the radar. I believe we might also have induction loops here, I'm not sure. Anthony's asking if we are near that awesome bike shop. Which one of them? So one of the biggest bike shops, independent bike shops, is of the whole Nordic countries, is here in Oulu. It's a couple of 100 meters that way. Not going there now. And here's another counter, and also another automatic weather station. So there's laser pointers here, or laser measurement devices measuring the amount of snowfall and making sure that the contractor has done their job. And as Perishable Goods is saying, it's very safe, very nice, no worries about cars driving in onto you, or actually drivers driving, not cars. So it is peaceful, it's comfortable, it's fast. So I remember when Steve was visiting us from Seattle here in Oulu a couple of years back. We went for a ride together, and after the ride I was asking Steve, like, what was your guesstimate, how many kilometers did we ride? And he was like, as first suggesting, I remember it was like 20 kilometers, whereas actually we rode more than 40 kilometers because it's so comfortable and it's mentally fast and easy. It's not stressing. There's less noise. Okay, now there's a lot of noise because of that 4-lane road over there, but it's enjoyable, and that's something that's really important if you want to be a successful cycling city. Cycling needs to be comfortable, fast and easy. And Heather is asking if I want to reveal the location of 2026 Winter Cycling Congress, and my answer to that is no. I'm not really revealing it yet. But yeah, even if we are here in this industrial / commercial hellhole area of Oulu, it's still relaxing. Absolutely it is. Is someone hiring an executive assistant in Oulu? So I don't know about that, maybe you can find out. Another set of traffic lights, I don't really like them, but at least it's green. You can see some of the red coating. So when there's less snow on the surface. Oh, we've got poor maintenance here. So this is red, this cyclist side is red, and the pedestrian side is black asphalt. So here, look at this. This is unexcusable, absolutely. So, one of the conflict points when the contractor of a bicycle path is a different company than what's managing this road here, this road, which is actually a state managed road. So it's a national road, and they are required to clean this snow here immediately. So it shouldn't be here anymore. I believe they have like a 15-minute time frame to remove it, and I can clearly see it's been here more than 15 minutes. So Harry, maybe you can take care of this and make Destia clean this. So there absolutely should be a sanction for this, but unfortunately the authority who is managing the state road maintenance isn't really known for giving out too much sanctions. Yeah, of course most of this path is absolutely rideable, but it's not good. This is not what the city and what the taxpayers are paying for. It's included in the contract that this needs to be free of snow. So the snow plowed from the drive lanes must not remain on the bicycle path. And it needs to be clear. I'm not sure about the minutes in this contract, but in city contracts they have 15 minutes time to remove the snow if they put any snow on the bike path. And Marius is asking if the state roads have different maintenance standards. They do. So every city has their own ones, and state roads have their own. And they also might be slightly different in different provinces. I'm not entirely sure if they are different on that. On paper, the state roads maintenance criteria are pretty good, but in practice there's a lot of variation. And Steve is asking, are they separate contractors though? So in this case they are, absolutely. And oftentimes they are separate contractors in other cases as well. So let's go away from the super maintenance class and turn right from here and go this way. So this, I believe, this path where the illumination is not working is the responsibility of the state road administration. So whenever a bicycle path is adjacent to a state road, it is usually owned and maintained by the state road administration, or at least it's their responsibility and they hire a contractor to do that. So what we did with the super maintenance class there is that also the state road administration participated in this contract. So we have 3 different clients there: the city of Oulu, nearby municipality of Kempele, and the state road administration, and they joined forces and bought this contract from one single contractor. But this path is not part of it, just a regular cycling path next to a state road. So as Mari is saying, this is typical sprawl, absolutely. So we are a car-centric, car-dependent, hellhole kind of a sad excuse of a city. But we do have decent bicycle infrastructure. So it's absolutely possible to do this in most of the car-dependent cities around the world. In North America, in Estonia, and so on. Absolutely possible. And pretty easy, because in those places there's so much space. So much space. But even this regular state-owned bike path is pretty good to ride. And this is just like a regular path. No super maintenance class, nothing. Let's go here. So here it gets much more enjoyable when we go a little bit further away from the road to inside the forest. And now I think we are on the city paths again. Maintenance responsibility on the city. This is enjoyable. Being here in the forest on a well-lit path, away from the noise, right next to a residential single-family housing area, which is over there. And many of the streets of these residential areas might be dead ends for people driving and so on, but they're usually always connected like this to the bicycle path network. So once you just get away from there, there's a really well connected bicycle path network here. Yeah. Marcos is saying we call that basic infrastructure. Yes, it is. And this should be like the absolute minimum everywhere, of course. I know it sounds utopistic and ideal, but we must aim high. Anyway, my battery is running out, so I'll be heading to a new underpass on this new bicycle superhighway here. We rebuilt this bicycle underpass last year. It's not as wide as I was hoping it to be, and you can see that the slopes on the right and left side have been cut to make some space, but I would say it's sufficiently wide, although the illumination here isn't really working. So I guess there'll need to be some feedback about that. Anyway, hoping I still got 14% of the battery left, and here we go. So we've been running the live stream now for 54 minutes, and I was hoping to connect my phone into an external battery, which is included in this gimbal, but for some reason the gimbal stopped working when I plugged it in, so I have to just work with the limitations of my phone's battery. Anyway, it's been really fun having all of you here. I should be doing these live streams much more often, as I was in the past. It's been a couple of years since I did the last one. So please, if you can put in the comments what kind of live streams you would like to see, what kind of places would you like to see in Oulu, what kind of topics would you like me to talk about, and so on. And of course, like and subscribe if you feel like it. I'd really appreciate that. But once again, thanks for all of you, and please fill in the Winter Cycling Federation questionnaire, the survey, the feedback about this event. What did you like about this? What will you hope that we will be doing in the future? And of course, please, if you like that and like what we're doing, please consider making a donation for us. Alright, so thank you everybody, and have a nice evening and day and whatever time of day you have. Cheers.